All right, this is a past exam paper from KZN, which was written in June, paper 1. So, question 1 read as follows. Consider the expression k is equals to 3n over square root of n over n plus 5. Now they say, write down the value or values of n for which, number 1, k is equal to 0. So, what will make this entire expression be 0? 0 is equals to 3n over square root of n plus 5 in order for us to get this answer of 0. When it's like this, now, what do you consider? You simply consider the numerator. Why? Because imagine if I say 0 divided by 7 to you. Let's go to a calculator and see how much we get, right? If I do that, I say 0 divided by 7, the answer that I get is equal to what? Is equals to 0, right? So when you are being asked such a question to say what will make this k to equal 0, now we need to know which number would make this numerator 0. So you simply say 3n is equal to 0. You divide by 3, you divide by 3. 3 into 3 is 0. Therefore, n is equals to 0 divided by 3 is equals to 0. So if you multiply 3 by 0, right, you get what? You get 0. So our n is equal to 0. Then it would make k equal to 0. So done. Then we go to the second question. They are asking k is undefined. What do they mean when they say k is undefined? We are simply saying that we can't share. Remember, we are having a division. So if I come to you and I say 2 divided by 0, right? 2 divided by 0 is equal to undefined. Contrary to popular belief whereby a lot of people think that 2 divided by 0 is equals to 0, the answer is not that. Let's prove that using a calculator. If I say 2 divided by what? 2 divided by 0, it is equals to, you see, it tells you math error, right? This math error, you write it as undefined, right? So, in our case, what would make our, what do you call it? Our denominator to be 0. So observe here I have been given square root of n plus 5. What would make this denominator to be, right? So now I say n plus 5 is equal to 0. I set up this equation and then I transpose the positive 5, it becomes negative 5, right? So therefore my n is equals to negative 5. Right? So let's plug it back in here. So if I now come in and I say square root negative 5 plus 5. Negative 5 plus 5 gives me what? It gives me a square root of 0. And the square root of 0, and then I've got 3n here, right? So let's say that our n is equals to 1. Then we come here. 3 multiplied by 1 gives me 3. So if I say 3 divided by square root of 0, what do I get? Once again, math error. So our n is equal to negative 5. If you are given square root of n minus 2 here, you would take this n minus 2, you would say n minus 2 is equals to 0. Then you would transpose this negative 2, it would become a positive. And then you would replace this n with this positive. Then you say 2 minus 2, which will give you what? Square root of 0. But because it's the denominator, then it gives you undefined. Hopefully it makes sense, right? Okay, then the last question they ask, for which values will k be non-real, right? So what do we mean? What do they mean when they say non-real? What they simply mean when they say non-real is that in term 1 you were taught about the number system, and we've got numbers which we call real numbers. And real numbers is a combination of what? It's the combination of rational and irrational numbers, right? So anything that is not a rational number and anything that is not an irrational number, then that is what is called non-real. So in this particular instance, right, what would cause us to have what? Non-real numbers. We are going to look at our denominator here because we've got a what? A square root, right? So if I say square root of 2 this is an irrational number, which means it's part of a real number. But for it to be a non-real, this is when now say square root of a negative number. So which numbers or which values of n will make this square root to be a non-real number, right? So this is what I do. Now I say n plus 5 is less than 0, right? Now, remember, under your inequalities, this one is telling you to say that if I say n and I transpose this 5, it becomes negative 5. Now we are being told that the values that will make this particular square root to be a non-real, it will be the values which are less than negative 5. And if we go to our what? But this negative 5 is not involved. Remember, if you plug this negative 5 here, we say that it gives you undefined. So this negative 5 is not included, but the values that are less than negative 5 are what? This is when you come to a number line, now you say negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9, negative 10, and so on and so forth. So when you write this answer to say that n is less than negative 5, this is what we call non-real, right? And just like that, you're done. Hence, they didn't give you a lot of marks. It's 1 mark each, right? So let's move on to question 2. Question 2 now says we are supposed to simplify the following expressions fully. So 2.1.1 is given us what? We were given 4p, open bracket 2 minus 5x, right? So this is a case of what? We're using the distributive property. This 4p must multiply with this binomial. So positive and positive, it gives me a positive. Now 4 multiplied by 2, that is 8. I have p, there is no letter, so I just write p as is. Now positive multiplied by negative, that's a negative. 4 multiplied by 5, it gives you 20. Then we've got p and we've got x. They are like terms, so they come down as px. And just like that, we are done expressing our algebraic expression. Then we get our 2 marks. Then on the next question, they gave us what? Negative 2, right? We have been given negative 2, open bracket 2x plus 3, and open bracket 3x minus 2. And it has got 3 marks. So they also said same instruction, we must simplify. All right, so brackets, they mean we must multiply. And also this negative 2 outside is saying we must multiply. But we're going to follow our BODMAS rule and start with the brackets. So I'm going to rewrite negative 2. Now this 2x must multiply this binomial, and this 3 must multiply this binomial. So here, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a square bracket. I'm going to take this 2x and open the bracket and multiply this binomial of 3x minus 2, and I will take this positive 3 and multiply the binomial of 3x minus 2 like that, and I close the square bracket. I now say negative 2, right? Then I now say 2 multiplied by 3, that's 6, x to the power 1 multiplied by x to the power 1, that's x to the power 2. Positive multiplied by negative, that's a negative. 2 times 2, that's 4. There is x, there is nothing, so I write my x. Done. Then I come here, positive and positive, that's a positive. 3 by 3, that's 9. There is x, there is no letter, so I write the x. Positive multiplied by negative, that's a negative. 3 multiplied by 2, that's 6. All right, I close the bracket. Observe, these two are like terms. So I say negative 4x and plus 9x, that gives me 5x. So I say is equal to negative 2, open bracket, 6x squared plus 5x minus 6, close bracket. Now, I'm going to multiply each term by this monomial, negative 2. Negative times positive, that's a negative. 2 by 6 is 12. Then I've got x squared. Negative times positive, that's a negative. 2 times 5, that's 10x. Negative times negative, that's a positive. And then 2 times 6, that's 12. Observe, there are no like terms. Why? This is x to the power 2 and this is x to the power 1. They are unlike. So this is our final answer. Negative 12x squared minus 10x plus 12. And just like that, we are done. Now, let's deal with the last one, where we are given what? We are given 4, open bracket, 4x plus 1, this one, minus 3x plus 1, and 3x minus 1. Difference of 2 squares. Now, where are we going to start? We are going to start with this 4x plus 1 squared. We are going to expand it. So it means 4x plus 1 multiplied by another 4x plus 1. So minus open bracket 3x plus 1 close bracket, open bracket 3x minus 1 close bracket. What is happening here? These two must multiply. The product that we find, we'll wait for these two to multiply. When we are done, then we multiply by this negative, whatever product that we find. From there, we will collect like terms and add or subtract. So let's start. This 4x must multiply with this binomial. So I single it out. I say 4x, I open the bracket. Now I write this binomial 4x plus 1 close bracket. I take this positive 1. It must multiply throughout with 4x plus 1. Minus, I repeat it, I'm not just going to use it. Then I take out 3x. So here I'm going to put a square bracket so that I may not forget that I'm still supposed to multiply by whatever that is going to be found here, the product. So I take 3x, I open the bracket, I'm going to multiply it by this binomial of 3x minus 1. I take the positive 1, I'm going to multiply it by the binomial of 3x minus 1. I've distributed, I close my square bracket. Now, on the next stage, I now say 4 multiplied by 4, that's 16. And x to the power 1 multiplied by x to the power 1, it gives me x to the power 2. 4 multiplied by 1, it gives me 4. There is x, there is no letter, so I write my x. Then here 1, whenever you multiply anything by 1, the number that you have or the letter that you have, that becomes the answer. So here in this case, positive times positive, now we know that we've got 4x. Positive times positive, it's another positive 1. I repeat writing this minus, right? And then I open a bracket because I still have to multiply with whatever product that I find here. Now I say 3 by 3, that's 9. And x by x, that's x squared. Positive times negative, that's a negative. 3x times 1, that's 3x. And then 1 times that, it's a positive 3x. Positive times negative, that's a negative 1. We close the bracket. Here, observe, we've got what? This positive 4x plus this positive 4x, which are like terms. So now we write 16x squared plus 8x plus 1. And then here the minus 2 there, I open the bracket, I rewrite negative 9x squared. These two are like terms. Negative 3 and positive 3, it gives you 0. They cancel out. Remember, I said it's difference of two squares. So it gives us a binomial. Now, from there, what are we going to do? Now that we know the product, we're going to rewrite 16x squared plus 8x plus 1. Then this negative multiply with this positive, which gives us a negative 9x squared. Negative times negative, which gives us a positive 1. Now, these two are like terms, 16x squared minus 9x squared. When we do that, it gives us 7x squared. 16 minus 9, it gives us 7x squared. And then 8x does not have any like term, so we write positive 8x. Then we have got, so this and that done. This we have written it. We are left with 1 plus 1, which is equal to 2. And just like that, we are done, right? That's it. So if you found this video to be helpful, please do consider subscribing, like, comment, and share. On the next video, we're going to be dealing with what? Functions, past exam paper of this very same question paper from KZN. So till we meet next time, cheers.